Hello, what's up everybody? Welcome to another video. In this video, I will be going over my UI and sharing my profiles and what everything does for me. And that's been something that you guys have been really wanting for a long time now. So let's jump straight into looking at that together. So let's start with the plater, the nameplates I'm using. To access plater, you do /plater and it's going to show up. And here we have under general settings, down here you can change the health bar width and height on all the health bars. So it's not going to change only the enemy, it's going to change friendly and whatever. Here you can also change the stacking nameplates or how far between you want to have them, and all of those settings are found here. Under colors and threats, here you can change, if you're playing as tank, what kind of color you want on the mobs. When you have aggro or another tank, or if you have low aggro. And here you can also change the color when you're playing DPS or healer, what color scheme you want it to be. Under target, here you can also see the highlight. You can change how that looks when you have a target, how the highlight is looking around them. And the arrows as well, you can change that here. Under cast bar, you can see the different colors on what cast it is if you want to change anything. And you can also change if you want to see the spell icon or not, and the target name of the person getting targeted with the cast. Very useful for me, at least. I do enjoy seeing who is getting casted on. As of right now, I do also have the cast bars being set to, if it's a must interrupt, a very important one, it will change color to a more orange red and pop up a bit. If you want to change the color of that, you go to scripting. And in here you can see the option that's called quasi must interrupt. And in here you can change the color of the cast bar that will flash, bounce, whatever you want it to do, to make sure that you don't miss that important interrupt. Under NPC and colors, in here you can change the colors of all the different mobs. If there's any specific mob that you want to track or want to pop out extra for you. I have set it right now to have a more purple pinkish color on all the casters in every pack to see who is actually gonna cast something important. And you can just change that easily in here if you want to change. And we do have the party frames / raid frames that I'm using. They are called cell. And to access the menu on these ones, you do /cell opt. And you're gonna get this one opened up. And for you guys, it might look a bit larger than it does for me because I'm using kind of a big monitor. And to change that, you can just go to appearance and change the scale, and that will change the scale of everything inside of the add-on. So all frames will change scale with that to fit your profile. This one is currently set up to change differently depending on if you're playing tank, DPS or healer. So as a tank and DPS, I do have my party frames on the left side of me. And as a healer, I always have them horizontal like this. For me, it makes way more sense having it this way when I'm healing, and on the left side of me vertically when I'm tanking or DPSing. In the profile, you already have all the dispels and debuffs and things like that you need to track. And it will also change color depending on what kind of dispel or debuff that you have on you. So if you go into indicators and under dispels, then you can see that here we have under dispels the different colors depending on what kind of debuff the person have on them. And then we do have one of the best parts with the add-on, which is the click casting menu. So this one saved me having one extra add-on for having my mouse over macros or whatever in for both healing, DPS and tanking. It's really good to use. So very easily on the class you're playing or the spec, you go into click casting. And then all you have to do is to left click one of the spells that you want to change and then press the key that you want it to change to. You can also add new ones. You can add spells, macros or whatever you want to have even more things that's going to be mouse over functioning. And I think that's really efficient. If you want to change the position on anything in this add-on, you do have up in the left corner of everything, you do have a small bar showing up if you mouse over it. And if you drag that one, click it and drag, then you can move things around. So it's very easy to move the UI if you feel like it's in the wrong spot or whatever, or if it doesn't fit you at all. Omni CD I'm using to track my party's CDs, offensives, defensives, whatever I think is important. And I will share that profile as well with you. And to access that, it's Omni CD, and you get the menu up. And in here, you can just go to profile sharing and import if you want to use my profile. And I have set mine up to work with healing and DPS and tank. So under profiles, if you import mine, you can change it to heal, DPS, or whichever you want to use. And under dungeons then, this is what it's going to look like. Now it's showing everything, but it's going to show depending on what the person is spec'd into, of course. So this is what it looks like when someone uses it. It's going to gray out, and that means that they have actually used it. On top of that, if there's anything that you want to change with the icons, then you can change it here, the size or whatever. And also if you want to add or remove spells, you can do that easily under spells. Very, very good and efficient add-on to use. Makes it so much easier to just get a hang on what everybody is running and not put panic on everybody if you can see they have defensives still not used or whatever. I also get this good interrupt bar with that you can just move around wherever you want it. Shows all the interrupts that's available in the group. And to get my UI dark, like everything is very dark on my UI, I am using something called Better Bliss Frames. It's this add-on, which I will share my profile to as well, if you want to have the dark things around and make it look more like my UI. And if you really do want the layout of my UI with my bars and everything, I'm sharing the profile for that as well. So you just go to edit mode and then you import the text that you picked up from my profile. And there is one last thing that I do want to share as well, and that's my weak auras. So /WA and you open your weak auras if you have downloaded the add-on. And here we do have some good stuff that I think is important to track. I will be sharing the most important ones, which I think if you're playing a paladin tank, I have put together a small pack of things that I want to track. I do also have one for tracking battle resist and bloodlust, so that way you can see if it's on cooldown or not. A really good one that I'm using as well is the raid ability timeline. So it works in dungeons and in raids. Shows you when the next ability will happen, and that way you can prepare and plan your defensives or whatever it might be that you need to have ready for the next thing happening. I'm also using the Season 1 Dungeons The War Within. Allows me to see a lot of good things that's happening, and also gives you a sound cue on some things, but it really tracks everything inside of dungeons. Like here you can see that when you're fighting in the Dawnbreaker, the last boss, you can actually see the real health on that last boss. On this one, you have if you need to have a fear kick or whatever's happening showing up. You also have this red circle on Arakara, the first boss, when the puddles are putting down. This is the time you have before the puddle is putting down on you. So there's a lot of useful things in that one. I will be sharing that as well. I have also been getting a question about my dungeon timer when I'm in keys, which one I'm using, and I'm using something called IP Mythic Timer, and I will be sharing my profile for this one as well if you want to use that. I think it's a good way to just fast see what's happening, how many deaths you have, how many bosses, percentage, and everything. So I'm sharing that one with you as well, of course, and that will probably sum up all of them. Thank you all so very much for watching. I really hope that you found something useful, and if you did, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. I really do appreciate it. A link to my Discord down in the description below, where you can find all the profiles. Don't forget to catch me live as well every single day over at twitch.tv/Delumiaa. Hope to see you there. Peace.